Welcome to Apostate Coalition. And tonight on the Worldly Perspective, we're talking fallacies again. Would you be able to spot a fallacy? And we're even going to use some JW literature to determine if they use any illogical fallacies, logical fallacies.
Wait, what title did we end up going with?
Logical fallacies, discussion and breakdown using JW literature.
Okay, I didn't know if you changed it to.
So does that mean we have to go look at JW literature tonight?
And we don't have to. We
being
make
scared.
these.
We could put a poll out and see if anybody wants to change it to a different topic. And if I get enough votes, I'll put my costume on.
Logical fallacies
No.
to electric boogaloo.
Did not.
Yeah, I put that as a poll.
Okay, anyway, moving on. Take a poll, as you will. Logistics? Yes. Why not? What the fuck is logistics? Seriously, I see them on buildings, like businesses, as I drive by them, and they're just giant warehouses. And I'm concerned. I don't know what's in there.
Sticks.
Get a job in logistics. Yeah, I don't know. What does logistics even mean?
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
it's moving in
for people that don't do anything
from one place to another, but not transportation. So I'm confused.
It's like dispatch, like figuring out where to send things different times, I guess.
If something's here,
Probably not. Yes, that's what I was thinking.
to be here.
He was so I could see it in his eyes. He was like, "I'm out."
Enough.
Yay! We've already annoyed one of our hosts.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. We just kind of jumped around. So welcome to the show. We are the Apostate Coalition. We like to talk about all things apostate related, which is so many topics, you guys. Really, it's endless. This is part 2. We talked about this last time as Ryan introduced. I really do hope Tether comes back. I'm getting a little concerned now.
I'm telling you, Texas needs to work on their infrastructure.
Oh, snap.
I thought he just got angry at it and considered that he just lost the internet connection.
Yes, because Hurricane Beryl ripped through Texas, and they're, I thought, prepared for those kinds of things. But I mean, I'll just say I don't know enough about the infrastructure to know what it entails. So I'll give Texas that break. Anyways.
How did you get sick of us, or did you?
I was trying to do something, and then I tried to log in, and it took me away.
It took me away.
We were worried we pissed you off 3 minutes into the conversation.
Yeah.
Trust me, you can tell by my face when I'm pissed off.
No, you cannot. Everyone look at his face all the time and tell me if you can tell.
You can tell by my face when I'm pissed off. My face goes from this to this.
So as a child, I learned sign language. My sister can hear kind of, but she can't speak. So it was a good form of communication for her. So as a child, I learned sign language, and I cannot help but constantly use my facial expressions when I talk, because that's like a very good portion of the language.
Right.
I use a lot of hand gestures. It's not sign language. I promise. I've forgotten 98% of it. It's been a long time. But I still have a lot of those instincts. So my face is like an open book. I can't hide anything. I'm really terrible about it. So watch my face now for the rest.
I will say, Archradish, your face does look like you're judging me a little bit. I do feel like.
Are you judging us?
I do feel like I'm like
really
fucking up whenever you look at me. I'm like, oh man, what am I doing wrong? It's making him look at me this way.
Just kidding.
Mm-hmm. I will say everybody should go and actually look at Archradish, because I challenge you to actually find him looking pissed.
I know he's always.
Other than when maybe he's talking to a bunch of like apologists or something.
Right. Yeah. When you've got.
I want to see how long he'll hold the face. Anyway, welcome everybody. We're going to do a local fallacy. Got him. All right. So what's that?
What are we doing now?
We are talking about logical fallacies. You were not here because your infrastructure could not sustain
Burl.
the damage of Burl. So
Wait,
Burl?
and
Barrel?
didn't wait.
the barrel or
Barrel.
Burl?
Didn't your
Burl.
city decide
Burl?
to divert electricity
Well, let me
just
correct.
for a
me-
game, a baseball game?
Let me
He
correct
said-
you
he
real
said,
quick.
let me correct you.
Let me correct you, sir.
Please.
I don't live in the city of Houston.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Just want to let
Gotcha.
you know. We do things different where I stay.
But if a
Gotcha.
meteor the size that could destroy Earth were to hit Houston, do you think you'd still be hit by the meteor?
Nope.
Liar.
Did they divert? They didn't divert your power for the game. They diverted power for a baseball game, didn't they?
And?
Huh?
And? Let
Did
us
you
do
really?
it.
They
I mean-
all voluntarily said, "Dear Governor of California, please take a
Imagine that.
few hours of
Imagine
our electricity so that the greater good can be
Dr. Time
served."
Mystery. Imagine the in-home hospice patients whose power got diverted from
Well,
base.
They should have got a They should have got a generator.
That's a good question.
That's funny.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I guess that's our healthcare system. Good night, folks.
Mhm.
Texas healthcare system.
You
yeah,
leave us
baseball.
alone. You leave us alone down here, buddy.
Shouldn't have been dying.
Everybody's
say we gotta
flocking.
play
Everybody's
ball.
flocking here and ruining it all.
We're just buying time for people to join and have a good time. We did seriously have a topic for tonight.
Didn't know I would have to defend Texas here.
I mean,
Yeah, the topic is
poorly.
Okay.
Saying.
a walking logical fallacy. No, I'm just kidding.
I had a lot of. I ate a lot of deer meat.
Sounds very Texas.
A lot of deer meat, a lot of rib meat, like 2 racks of ribs. It was just me at the house, so I just kind of ripped into it and was just eating on it, walking in there, just grabbing pieces off of it. It was just that was life,
Mhm.
Yeah, and then the rest of the world went on and didn't care. So
It was great. I missed out on a lot of stuff in those 5 days.
I filled you in on the important things. You're good. It's fine. Fed you the information I wanted you to see. Anyway, last time we were talking about logical fallacies, and we spent a great deal of the time just wandering through the many lists and the many different kinds of fallacies. I felt overwhelmed, and even though I've learned this stuff before, I just went, there's no way I'm memorizing those again. I tried to go through different literature of various sources or things that people said to just kind of like tease out different ones. And to be honest, if you don't memorize the names, it is harder. But I could still kind of catch what was going on. So I think I'm just going to throw this out here. If you don't know the terminology for something, it doesn't mean you don't maybe have a good grasp of the concepts. You just don't have a name to put to the thing. And so I found that happens to me a lot. I'm terrible about finding the words that I need to accurately describe it, unless I just brute memorize things over and over and over. And even then you lose it if you don't use it, right? So understanding concepts is always better than just the actual specifics. You have a question for the class, Tyler?
Just a minor thing. I mean, can you move me to the other side?
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Why?
Every time, you guys.
I'm not gonna let you be subjugated.
Thank you.
Oh.
I would appreciate,
Thank you.
a different view every now and then.
And as the alpha sub, I like being on bottom. So
Yeah, I just don't like. I don't like looking
this
off
situation
computer
here.
screen. It was weird. It's bothering me.
Anyway,
it
I
was
just
because the
wanted
way
to
your face is
move on.
looking, you want to be at this angle rather than this angle.
I'm
That
still
why?
pissed about my.
Yeah, I'm
camera,
kind of
too.
like faced wrong. Mine's not really. Would I be better?
You moved me. There we go. Perfect.
We'll get it.
Wait,
Perfect.
no, but
Oh,
he wants to be subjugated.
All
Okay,
right.
Yeah.
perfect.
Oh, perfect. Now we're
Perfect.
perfect.
That's really what he wanted this whole time.
Well,
So.
yeah, her on top.
All right, there you go.
All right, let's do this.
Now we're ready to go. Show
All
is
right.
starting, friends.
All right. So
Link to the document, please.
what?
You have a link to that little document?
A document? You want? You
Oh, it's
want
no
me to
document?
show
Okay, hold on.
my references?
The little logic to fallacy PDF.
Are we showing fallacies again?
You mean the one I emailed to you and I texted you a couple of times?
That one?
Well, I
That
got
you
one on
said,
my
"Oh, I got it. I'm just not gonna read it." And then
okay, I
said,
got one
"All
on my computer. I'll pull it up. Don't worry about me.
Oh.
yeah, I think that was kind of the point I was trying to make here. So anyway, we kind of just we walked through them, right? And there's a lot of them.
Yes.
What? No. So what I tried to do is it was challenging. I'm just gonna say that. So if anybody else did that after watching last week's show and got like all excited and then struggled with it, yeah, welcome to the fucking club. So anyway. So I kind of took a slightly different approach and I kind of ran out of time, but I just kind of like picked a thing and then tried to pick out all the fallacies I could find, or picked a fallacy and then just kind of tried to find examples of that thing. Oops.
Jeez,
Okay.
that's a lot of fallacies.
I mean, that's the theme of the show. So what's the biggest one you want to start with?
Fallacies?
Tyler?
Oh, I'm reading it for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any alpha sub?
Like
Pick one.
pick
No?
one. I don't see the document. I'm just on my phone, so
I'm not sharing it. I
can't
can go back
immediately
and
pick
kind
a
of
sub.
recap. We had talked about some of the more basic ones like ad hominems, basically just attacking the person and name calling them through the argument. There was like slippery slope, burden of proof. What was another one that was super common?
Picking, false
Appeal to
dichotomy,
authority.
appeal to authority.
Right. See, you guys do such a good job.
You know a bunch. I'm still thinking. Oh, there was a new one we learned nut picking versus
What?
cherry pick. Yeah.
I can't remember if there was.
There
a
was like a
difference.
nominal difference, I guess, which I'd have to have a really good example in order to really know the difference between the two.
I forgot about the nut
You're
picking.
cherry picking.
Yeah,
no,
the nut
actually, I
picking.
was nut picking, so you're wrong.
The steel man, the straw man. Isn't there another man too?
There's a lot of men. Let's face it.
Steel man, strong man, another man too.
Yeah.
All right. So I kind of went back, and this is the one that I had shared before. Straw man, misrepresenting somebody's argument to make it easier to attack. False cause, presuming that a real or perceived relationship between things means that one is caused by the other. That's kind of, anyway, we can go on and on. This is what we went over, so I can kind of hover over stuff.
Is correlation causation a logical fallacy, or is it called something different?
There's correlation name one, so kind of say it again.
What
Sorry.
about?
She was asking if there's a name for correlation does not equal causation. So is there a name as a fallacy?
I mean, probably that could be that one.
I know that is a good question. I don't even know how to ask Google.
Presuming a real or perceived relationship between things that one is the cause of the other. I mean, that's
false cause. Yeah.
For example, what could be a false cause is the correlation that the Grindr website crashed, I believe, in the same area where the
Republican National Convention. The actual cause was just a meteor went by that hit the server at the same time.
Did you
not the Houston one, right?
Yeah, it had nothing to do with the Republican National Convention. That was just a complete coincidence.
Yeah. So
Did you
a good example of that. Yes, Tyler, go ahead.
show him that one video I sent you?
You'll have to be so much more specific than that.
The one-
We have
That video from one time.
TikTok lets you like count your streak of talking to somebody on TikTok. Should we share with them what number we are at? And
38 or stuff like that, 39.
I think it was like 41. But the point is, you send me so many TikToks, so please explain.
Video.
The one guy.
Grinder got pounded.
Right?
The one guy.
So wait,
with
you're
the,
saying it wasn't because the RNC was there?
The
It was
one guy,
something
what
else?
now, Tyler?
me? Oh,
Yeah.
me. Oh, excuse me. The one guy who said he was in the car. He was talking about like atheism is illogical.
I think I might have seen.
The guy he got the guy. Remember when Ethan Lawrence had died?
Wait, who died?
Okay, I know. Okay.
Yeah. Just continue. Some people will know. Continue.
It was a guy in a car, and he used his death to evangelize, and then everybody was eating him up and stuff. But he had a video that said atheism is illogical. I sent it to Dr. Time Webster that I told you to share with them, but I see you didn't.
No, that was so long ago. That was.
Well, let me dig it up real quick then. No, I'm digging it up.
TikTok realm, and
Don't worry, I'm gonna dig it up. Don't worry. Always forgiven. I am a merciful deity.
You gotta help me out. Be my peripheral brain for these things, and just share it. Assume I have forgotten.
I'm assuming. See, that's
More
what's wrong.
homonyms. Yes.
That's what's wrong with the youth today.
What's that? They assume too much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, appeal it. Oh, wait, where was that one? We gotta talk about that one. We're waiting. We should. Okay, appeal to emotion. I believe was on my list of things to talk about. Where was that?
That's a good one.
What's
Does that have something to do with not being logical?
What,
Like
all of these do.
I mean, but like not based. I guess basically they're basing the argument on your emotion. Like they're.
I got it down. I have it down.
Are they abusing, like taking advantage?
I have it.
Which one was it?
Okay, hold on.
Oh, okay. Oh, there we go.
Oh. I've never seen this.
I
guy.
haven't seen this one.
Oh, I found it. Can't hear. Cannot hear.
Can you hear it? Because we can't.
Jamie,
Cannot
get on the
hear.
soundboard.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hold on, let me reshare it because I probably didn't share the sound.
Yeah, you might not have clicked the box or something.
Oh, we were talking about appeal to authority, by the way, earlier. Just
Appeal to authority. Okay.
before I forget to say the words.
Oh, right. So the Abrahamic religions and
No.
Zoroastrianism
Oh,
and
that.
many other religions.
Hey-o.
Continue, please.
I was saying appeal to authority is most religious beliefs. Like, I think you were saying this before the show.
We were once again, honestly, we need to just record it. We keep thinking that we should just record our pre-show because that's when we kind of hash out. We don't really prep for the show, if you haven't noticed. So we do it like 30 minutes before the show starts. Sometimes we say,
hey, how are you?
and then we're
What
like,
are we
say
talking
it
about?
again. Yeah, we should really record those. Yes, we were talking about appeal to authority. We were talking about how that's kind of the major point of like religion, Jehovah's Witnesses. Ryan had found an article from the JDub website of all their literature, and an article that was basically like why you should appeal to authority. So it's a counter argument to why it's a fallacy, in my opinion. I didn't even read it very far to figure that out. So that's what we were talking about backstage. As far as I remember. Anyway, continue.
So my thought is, if you were to continue with that line of thought,
Logic and reason
all of
cannot
Western morality is based on appeal to authority, because it's all just whatever the Bible says is what's moral, and that's an appeal to authority.
Could y'all hear that?
Hear what?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Logic and reason
Oh, there we go. Now we
cannot
can hear it.
exist under the atheist worldview. And if they were honest, they would admit it. Let's get into it.
You gotta be honest.
I'm not honest, so.
Be honest, y'all. He's about, hey,
He's gonna prove it. He's gonna.
Well,
drop
he's
some
already
knowledge.
set it up so that no matter what I say to counter
You
his
got, hey,
argument,
now,
I'm
now,
not being honest.
Dr. Time Waster, I need you to do what you do best. Do you have a pen? Do you have a sheet of paper? You know what I'm saying. You have those things. Now, keep track of what he's saying for the best of your ability. Watch how he does it.
Hello everyone, I am the Reconstructionist, reconstructing the Christian faith while preventing the spread of biblical misinformation and dogma. Reason over consensus. All right, so now let's get into this.
Yes.
You know we got to break it up. You know how they do.
Reason over consensus. So
All
right,
right.
there, is he already trying to say that we're okay? Sorry.
He's a
Here's reason.
he's a reconstructionist. He's bringing back and reconstructing it, and he's pulling I've noticed they're pulling the let's talk like atheist people. He's one of those people who's gonna overuses well that the why this, why that, why this, why that, why this, why that, what about this, what about this? Oh, you didn't say that, what about this?
Because so many atheists honestly believe that their worldview is predicated on logic and reason, which is laughably false.
You don't have any logic, none of it all.
I wrote the word laughably false. Laughably false. I just want you to know, I did pay attention to what you said because this is my notes for this video, this TikTok that you sent me.
Okay.
Wow.
I did. I just
Their own
fucking
worldview
forgot.
on logic and reason shoots itself in the foot. Let me explain. Get your notes out. It's time to go to school.
Oh.
Atheists by and large believe that our brains were the result of unguided evolution.
Atheists believe in
Immediately.
large. So he's saying most of us atheists believe that evolution is our brains has got about unguided evolution.
Which means between the
But-
options of
I have a note on that. Hold on.
Okay.
I already
The
have
brain
that too.
evolved through unguided evolution, or without God, basically. But we did have a guide through natural selection.
Yep.
So
Bizarro Dan. All right, let's hear it.
let's hear it. Let's fucking hear it.
Show me the
does it.
data.
Chloe.
Show me the data.
That's a very top tier reference. I love your
theistic
references.
evolution, creationism, and atheistic evolution, they're the third one. Under this belief, all of your mental faculties are dependent on your brain, which is just the result.
Whoa. He says options. There's theistic evolution, which I would call creationism, and atheistic evolution, which I would just call evolution, right?
Wait,
But he said something about a third option.
No, we're the third. We
What's the
missed the
third
second. You
I
missed
thought
the second.
theistic
He said-
evolution.
Listen,
Third option.
Guided evolution, which means between the options of theistic evolution, creationism,
he split creationism and theistic evolution.
Yeah, I
into
think
two
theistic
separate-
evolution it just means regular evolution, but God started it. Is what I'm
Yeah.
assuming,
Okay.
Yeah,
but I don't know for sure.
that's yeah. I think that's probably what he meant. Even though we really know that's not what they really mean anyway. That's just an excuse to say, yeah. God did, yeah. He made these.
Dungeons and Dragons, yes. But hit play.
and atheistic evolution, they're the third one. Under this
Oh,
belief,
where's the
all of
third
your
one? I
mental
thought he said there
faculties are
is a third
dependent
one
on
when
your
this
brain, which is just the result of natural selection.
Why not? Sorry, you can rewind.
I'm failing to see what his points are. Okay.
It's coming.
Natural
Wait,
selection.
okay, if we're the third option, which is just evolution, I'm sorry. What was the difference between theistic and creationism? I missed that.
The creationism is like, God just created things the way they are, like the regular, like God created man like out of dust. And
Literal?
it's
Is that like a
Yeah.
literal?
You just
Six-
here. Boom. We're here.
Okay, magic.
6,000 years ago. So
Human.
theistic evolution is it's evolution, but God started it.
Like
Like
the
the
Futurama, like
dawn
Futurama with
of the Big
Professor
Bang,
Farnsworth.
basically.
But okay, so then by any definition, if there was a energetic spark that created and triggered the Big Bang, does that by then that definition be God?
It depends on who you
See,
ask. I think another thing about the theistic evolution is that God is also deciding how things evolve instead of natural selection. But if you believe in God of Spinoza, natural selection and God is the same thing. So I don't know. Just depends on who you want to talk to. Let's get into it, guys.
Brain, which is just the result of natural selection. Natural selection crash course favors the 4 Fs, those being feeding, fighting, fleeing, and reproducing. I'm so edgy. And if you're not seeing
Oh my god.
Every time
cringe.
I come across that part in the video, I was like, oh,
What a
you didn't even-
grifter.
why would you even put that in the video? Oh, it's edgy.
Oh my god.
That's a logical fallacy.
What an
right
edge
there.
lord.
I'm just gonna say that's his definition of natural
that's-
selection.
but that's
I would
not-
encourage people to go look up
That isn't the definition.
another one.
He just made up a definition that fit what he wanted to fit.
the
But
problem
words are
yet,
just defined by people, you guys. So if some people say a word means this and other people say a word means that, who's to say who is wrong when we culturally have different languages and different words for cup? So now,
Guys. I have a request. I just had a thought. Can we watch this from the beginning all the way through?
No, because I have arguments. I have 2 more pages.
No.
Oh,
Watch it from the
well,
beginning
well-
all the way through and then start over
Yeah.
I will
yeah.
rage out.
Okay.
on what we say. But we can't say anything
Logic
else
and
until it's
reason
over.
cannot exist under the atheist worldview. And if they were honest, they would admit it. Let's get into it.
hello everyone, I am the Reconstructionist, reconstructing the Christian faith while preventing the spread of biblical misinformation and dogma. Reason over consensus. All right, so now let's get into this. Because so many atheists honestly believe that their worldview is predicated on logic and reason, which is laughably false. Their own worldview on logic and reason shoots itself in the foot. Let me explain. Get your notes out, it's time to go to school. Atheists by and large believe that our brains were the result of unguided evolution, which means between the options of theistic evolution, creationism, and atheistic evolution, they're the third one. Under this belief, all of your mental faculties are dependent on your brain, which is just the result of natural selection. Natural selection crash course favors the 4 Fs, those being feeding, fighting, fleeing, and reproducing. I'm so edgy. And if you're not seeing the problem yet, don't worry, you will hang in there. So now the necessary interpretation of that belief is that the process that produced your brain was merely focused on selecting for traits that would help you survive. That's it. That's all. Not whether or not the beliefs your brain was producing were true. Natural selection doesn't care about truth. In fact, that's mainly a philosophical term. The first problem here is that under atheism, there is no reason to trust your cognitive faculties or any of your beliefs, including your beliefs about atheism or evolution. Because the processor which produced those beliefs was formed from a process that was not selecting for truth. For example, if there was an adaptation that was founded on a false belief, but that false belief helped us survive, then we would select for it. Now, I already know what you're going to try to do next. Let's run to science. Science is how we filter out what's false and what's true. And this leads into the second problem. You are presupposing the reliability of your mind to produce truth. The problem is the reliability of your mind is the thing in question. So I would ask you to produce the scientific experiment that proves the reliability of your mind. The problem is you would need to use the thing in question and presuppose its reliability in order to run an experiment on its reliability. It's a vicious circle. Now, I'm even going to do atheism the honor of granting them the last card they have to play. After coming to this realization, most atheists will go to, we can trust our cognitive faculties. They are reliable, in fact, because of natural selection. Natural selection selected for what was true because what was true aided in our survival. Congratulations, you activated my trump card. If natural selection gave us reliable cognitive faculties that produced true results because natural selection was filtering for what was true because what was true was aiding in our survival, then why don't you believe in God? Because throughout all of human history, and yes, the beginnings and genesis of science, people have believed in God. People still to this day, majority believe in God and a supernatural. So you cannot have it both ways. If natural selection filtered for what was true and we believed in God for the majority of human history, then is it not more sensible to believe that there is a God? That in fact, an intelligent designer and objective truth is necessary for us to know truth. For us to even have truth. Just something to think about. But look, I hope this helps. If you have deconstructed away from your faith and you're looking to heal your way back home, again, give me a like and a follow, and hopefully I can be a small anchor in that process. But until next time, take care, and most importantly, remember that a good reconstructionist is always learning. Grace and peace.
All right, so I don't have notes in front of me, so before I forget,
That was a lot.
I want to say
This is a great example. I love this.
He
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
He contradicted himself with natural selection, producing truth, being something that produces truth or not producing truth. His argument started out being that natural selection does not account for truth. It doesn't care. And then the end of the video, he was saying that natural selection does produce truth. Therefore, since people do, so he changed his argument in the middle of the video.
Bingo.
Wait, say that again.
He changed his argument in the middle of the video. At the beginning, he said natural selection does not care about if something is true or not. So you can't account for your mental faculties. And then at the end, he said,
From truth.
don't you need to believe in God because most people have believed in it, and you think natural selection accounts for truth. So he switched it up in the middle of the video. And also he has the ad populum fallacy too, where he's appealing to the amount of people. Yeah, you probably wrote all this down. I'm just thinking of it.
His whole argument for belief in God is just, well, we've believed for this long and this many people believe, so it must be true. That's all he said.
Is there a fallacy for that?
It is. It's in there.
Cost.
But did you
Not
see?
really, but
did you see how he did it though? That was 3 minutes of him just saying what I just said for 3 minutes. He used a lot of words. He talked good. It sounded like and like he did, like Dropstar said, he switched in the middle. It switched and it ended up somewhere else.
At the beginning, I was agreeing with things he was saying too.
Yeah,
there isn't a reason to always trust my own personal faculties.
But imagine,
I do want to consult science. Yes, you're right.
This only works on people who already believe. You can't. This doesn't bring people back in. This you already.
No, if you deconstructed, you should.
If you think this ain't gonna do it.
Maybe there's probably a couple people. You might find one or two stragglers. Out of a sea of a million, but
he's not going to get the ones. He's trying to get the ones that are like there's like teetering on that edge, of falling off. They still have some. They still have a smidget of a belief. And,
Yeah, and they're still looking to believe too.
and they still kind of looking to believe, even though their belief is waning. This is the only people they work on, and they talk real good, and they just preach from the book of logical fallacies. That's like they go-to book. It's like they go to the logical fallacies. Oh, let's do this one.
And in 5 years, they're gonna preach a sermon where they say, "I was deconstructing from religion."
Yeah,
But then
even
I
though they
listened
never
to this
was.
Reconstructionist,
They never had any plans.
and he made so much sense.
It was just very difficult for me to follow him. Like I just caught a few things. I was like, that doesn't sound right.
Imagine
It was
if,
difficult
I
to follow
wrote
him. I
some
was
of
trying very hard.
I
But
almost transcripted it in order to it took me rewriting the things he was saying for me to then
sometimes-
go,
right.
oh, that's kind of a bunch of bullshit. And that's how I caught the flip of because I didn't catch it listening to it. I don't know if you call this auditory processing issues, but sometimes just hearing people say something, I can't make it make sense. But then when I write it all down,
Yeah.
and then I reread it, I'm like, oh fuck, that's dumb.
I watched this video so many times, like just playing it back and forth, like to make sure, like, because I noticed he was switching. And I said, like, he's using a lot of buzzwords that make it sound like he's saying something important. And then again, if you're leaning on the edge, he's gonna pull you back in.
Terrence Howard, can I bring that name up right now? Does anybody
have
any immediate thoughts on this?
Essentially, what he's doing with Terrence Howard did. It sounds good to a very, if you're not like really privy to all these things.
No.
You don't know Terrence Howard?
Someone sounds smart to someone that
Wait,
isn't
what
smart.
you're saying.
The actor?
Stop. You don't know
Terrence
who
Howard,
Terrence
the actor.
Stop. You don't know who
He's
Terrence
fucking
Howard
weird as
is?
fuck, bro. Something wrong with his brain.
You don't know who Terrence Howard is?
I'm picturing his face, I think.
I mean, you come on.
But I'm really I can't pick.
Come on.
I'll know a song, but I won't remember.
It ain't
what band name is,
that trick.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
All right.
He was literally he was the first roadie in Iron Man.
Oh yeah. Okay, same. Yeah. Okay, I know that. That's what I was. I've seen that movie like twice.
I think I need to go get some milk.
Excuse me. Go for it. That sounds awesome.
I have to use the bathroom, so I haven't.
I've done with that.
A feminine minute.
I'm not going anywhere. I was just lying.
There's also an issue with how he's using the word truth as well, because I know he flips it and he just sort of flips the argument about truth and how now we're finding truth, even though we just said that's not what evolution does. And so he did it was really good. But also the reason evolution doesn't look for truth is because when you really start to think about it, it's easier to know what isn't true and to rule out things than it ever is to pinpoint an answer. And a lot of how I think we process information in our brains is by looking for patterns, of course, but we also can rule things out quickly once we identify that that's not true. The whole concept of like the cavemen trying to decide if the shadow is the lion and whether to activate their autonomic nervous system so that they're in a fight or flight mode when it was just a shadow. But it's Pascal's wager, better on the safe side to assume that it is danger than to take the risk that it is danger and you didn't do anything about it. And so that's just like chemically built into us and a reaction that we have. Yes. You raised your hand. Go ahead.
And he's already coming in with the conclusion. You can tell that he's not being genuine because he's already like his stance is.
Well, he started it off by
figure out how to get it's a means to an end. He's just trying to sound like he knows what the fuck he's saying.
Yeah, he already started. He's starting with God first.
Right.
Like whatever you say is like no, because it has to be God. Ain't that some type of fallacy?
Did he leave religion?
He didn't. Okay, so I'm just going to take a step back where you said, what did he start out with? His claim in the beginning is logic and reason cannot exist under the atheistic worldview. But did he prove that claim with his information that he had? Because what he tried to do is say, oh, I know a little bit enough about evolution to say that they don't believe God did it, and natural selection can't look for truth. But I believe a truth exists, and there's a right and a wrong and a dichotomy. And so I'm driving this conversation to that being what evolution is saying, or what even
But then
ever
he
the
said
point was.
truth was a philosophical argument or some shit like that. So he wasn't.
And that
So
we
why is he
couldn't
even using it?
know what truth is, because evolution doesn't know how to find truth.
He was arguing with
What is
himself.
truth? That's my question. What is truth, and how could you ever know if you have it?
He said that in the video too, was that truth is a philosophical argument according to the
It is.
atheists.
And then he
And
just
I
mowed
agree.
over it like it was a
So how does
lawnmower.
he know that his belief in God is true?
Right. Like,
Because he
couldn't we
switched his
just say use
argument.
the same argument against you, bro?
He switched
Because
his
he didn't
argument at
answer
the
the
end.
question.
At the end, he switched his argument to say, well,
That's
natural
Marnie.
selection produced a bunch of brains that believe in God. Therefore, God must be real. It's an ad populum fallacy, but it's kind of wrapped up in some weird natural selection.
He was ducking and
BS.
dodging through a few of those fallacies, I think. He had his hands on a few fallacies.
Bro just keeps committing fallacies.
Mhm.
Speaking of all of that,
Anything ambiguity, using
Yep.
double meanings or ambiguous of language to mislead or misrepresent the truth.
Yes.
Chloe.
Yeah, that is a good example of something that I mean, I was gonna say that Jehovah's Witnesses are ambiguous
Are they?
in the way that they talk about just their. I don't know. I feel like I don't know if that's the right word for it or not. I was gonna say it's just not substantive, I guess.
They're vague about a lot of stuff.
There's not much to what they say.
No substance.
Yeah. I guess it's not quite the same.
Ain't bandwagon appealing to the popularity of or the fact that many people do something as an intent for validation? Ain't that's kind of what he doing towards the end?
Yes. I'm pretty sure that's the same thing as ad populum or whatever.
Your mic's
Oh, you're
muted.
mute.
I'm muted.
No,
No,
no.
Tyler's the mic's muted. I was like,
I was gonna say the ad populum part is really just basically religion, right? Enough people believe this bell-shaped curve of however they define a deity in whatever form, and then therefore must be true. So that's how I would kind of frame those. I try and reframe them, like when you're reading these definitions of these things, and I think just reading them can be helpful, and seeing examples of them can be helpful, because then you start seeing patterns in other places. But you also need to double check it, right? Because I've already learned all this stuff a long time ago, and I've already forgotten it. And I wouldn't say I'm a stupid person by any means, but if I don't kind of recheck my math on that logic, I make errors, right? Like we all make errors. There's a standard deviation of error that every human makes on any given day of their expertise of what they do, right? Chefs sometimes cut their thumbs, right? It happens. And so if we just plan that we're going to make errors, we'll actually end up reducing the errors that we do in our critical thinking pathway. So whatever logical algorithm you're using for this, and the definitions of different fallacies is a good place to start, you still have to double check yourself, because we're always wrong. Long story short.
Not me. I'm never wrong.
You're never wrong. You're always right. That's why you have the internet that works.
What's that?
What? Oh, Sphincter says what?
Oh, okay. That's an ad hominem you doing right there, buddy. You're attacking my character.
An anti ad hominem?
An anti-ad hominem.
Anyway, yeah, I have lots of notes on that guy, but basically sometimes you just have to go right back to the main point. And this happens in clinical trials with drugs as well, which is, what was the original claim the person was making? What is the point of me sitting here and listening to this or doing this clinical trial if we don't have a goal? And then at the end of it, come back to that and see if we've met that goal. So if you make a claim like logic and reason cannot exist under the atheist worldview, then you better demonstrate what is their worldview, what is an atheist, what is logic and reason, and why can't it exist there? And I didn't really hear.
But I don't. But that's the thing about being an atheist. It ain't got nothing to do with that stuff.
Everybody has their own belief as well. It's not a monolith for certain.
I don't have to have any care. I could not believe in your deity and not know nothing and care nothing or have any belief in how we got here at all. I have nothing to do with that. But I don't have to. And what they're trying to do is that because they're trying to turn it into a system of like how theirs is set up, where we all organize under the same beliefs. Like you're atheist because we're all four atheists. We all have the exact same views on it.
I think he's trying to argue that if you extrapolate logic to the end, that atheists don't make sense.
Nothing makes sense if you keep doing what he do.
But then he doesn't actually use logic or take into account logical fallacies or anything like that. He's just,
or the fact that like he's
still appealing to emotion and all that.
The fact he's trusting that he's like, it's logical that, you know what, I'm for sure there was a deity who turned himself into a human. And how do you check that? You can't check that. You don't have nothing.
Yeah.
At least
I'm right here, baby. I'm right here.
You got to prove that there was a deity that created everything.
Yeah,
before you can prove that the Bible has anything to do with it.
But
nobody ever asks.
But what I can tell you is, I know for sure I've seen humans group up and worship weird things like getting shot in the ear. And start wearing, and then now now they're all wearing it as some sort of symbol, as if it's really, it doesn't mean anything. It was just a bandage on a wound.
Jesus got crucified and they all wear a cross. Jesus gets shot in the ear and they all wear a patch.
Bandage. Shit, it's falling. Oh no. They'll know it's fake. Hold on.
It's perfect.
Oh shit, it's on the wrong side. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's blasphemy then.
It's funny that obviously these people do not care about the substance.
Yeah,
I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting, right?
But here's the thing,
right? It's community, belonging. You get right.
But those are
kill people for religious beliefs.
But those people,
if it makes you feel good, it is good.
Those particular people
were right, and everyone else was wrong.
No, but those particular people are the people that like his type of video will work on. Like they're already, those people are they're not using their brain in any situation. They're not. It's like it's almost all the way off at this point. Like they got it almost clicked off. They say, you know what, I'm no longer receiving any new information. I'm only confirming what I believe at that point. And I know a lot of people like that they shut it down. Like they shut down and don't take in any more information. And there's literally almost nothing you can do for these people, but just all you can do. That's all you can do. But the other people, there's a good chunk of people who still, their brain's still on, but the longer you stay in it, they just keep getting turned down. And then you just all the way off because you exclude so much, because you have to exclude so much new information, and then it gets to a point where it's such a gap between you and whatever change has happened in time that it's just too scary to do it now. You didn't do any updates, and now you don't know. It's like with like trying to get the in-law to learn how to use Microsoft Word and Google Docs. It's essentially the same program. It's really not much different. Something a little different here. But if you have the general concept of how Microsoft Word works, yeah, you can work Google Docs easily. But if you've been using Microsoft Word from like what 99, you ain't updated to nothing. So when you see Google Docs, it's gonna be like, yo, what is this? This is crazy, and you know how to do it. In the reality, it's the same thing. But you skipped all the updates. There were gradual little updates to get you a little bit more familiar for the thing. But now you got a big steep update you got to catch up on. And they rather just say, no, I'm done. Never mind. I'll stick with what I got. I'll put this bandage on my ear.
Need one.
It's like, oh man, stop. I saw that video. I just said, I'm not surprised at all, but I'm like,
well, okay. I'm gonna take a step back though and just say, if their instinct, and I'm gonna say there, but I actually feel the overwhelming feelings of not really ever being taught or understanding the technology I'm using, and yet also being told that there are people who will try and take advantage of me to steal my identity or whatever, and then also trying to protect myself from that. But download the important thing. Like sometimes if you don't know what you're using or what you're doing, it is so overwhelming. And if somebody would just show you how to do it, like we are capable of continuing to learn. Well, in my local area, there was a woman who was in her hundreds and got her bachelor's degree. And I thought that was cool. You are never too old to learn until your brain is no longer able to function. So that's variable person to person.
But if you don't work that brain out, it becomes a habit.
And there's genetics involved as well. And let's just face it, as we age, it is more likely that we are going to be less capable of doing certain cognitive abilities statistically. And so if we had ways to gauge these things to see what's harmful to society on certain levels, like say the leader of the free world, would there need to be some sort of, I don't know, insurance action we should take? And I think it's okay to think about those and talk about those things, but also be mindful that not everybody is the same. Not everybody ages the same. Not everybody thinks the same. Not everybody has the same perspectives. And we have a very great diversity.
And this is why when I saw those ear things, it made me go, yep. I see. Yep. I'm on the right. I'm being atheist seems right.
Yeah, right.
It seems like right. It's yeah. If people believe that, it's possible.
Yeah.
It lets you see how a deity
they
can
believe
be born.
in weird stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But,
this lets you see how a deity can be created.
Yeah.
Throughout history.
Well, you ain't even got. You don't even have to do that. I watched the Tupac video for the first time in years. I mean, decades. I was looking at it. I was like, yeah, everybody kind of treat him like a deity too, in a sense, in terms of not like a large group, but there's people who still follow and listen to what Tupac say and hold his words as it means something. And I was sitting there looking at it. I said, oh, this is a 25-year-old child. That man ain't talking about nothing. I was listening to a song. I was like, oh, he ain't saying nothing. Get out of here.
Which is why, if I may go back to what I was saying, which was I fucking wrote down what his claims, what was his premise, did he meet those things? Sorry, my camera can't focus and my handwriting's terrible. But you have to find the way that you learn best, is all I'm saying. But hold people accountable for what they're saying, including yourself. But if you can't work it through or have friends that you can talk it through, because nobody's ever going to know this stuff if you silo yourself. If you don't ask other people with different opinions, then you'll never grow. But just holding, like, what is the claim? Did they meet the claim? Does this explain anything? And all you can do is try. This is insane.
No, I prefer.
Or
No, I prefer better.
yeah, okay,
I prefer a system where we all gather in a room
Wrap your
and
hair up.
we listen to one person tell us how their brain interprets something.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yep, you're blind. You're like Lady.
Just doing it for anybody,
Liberty.
or
Lady
sorry.
Lady
Oh,
Liberty.
Alpha Sub was real close to the camera there.
Wait.
Lady
I got
Liberty.
interested all of a sudden.
Lady Liberty.
A system where we do what now, brother?
This is the system where we all gather at a place maybe once a week, on one central location, and we sit in a room and we have a person just tell us how their brain interprets stuff. we don't have no feedback. No, we don't say nothing. We just take how he interprets it, and we go, he has the right brain to interpret it. We don't. And we just run with that.
I think you would like the Quakers, actually. This sounds pretty similar to them.
Yeah.
So, quaking in your boots over me. Yeah.
So, they just all sit silently in a room until somebody gets filled with the Spirit and says some stuff.
It would have been me every time.
No, it wouldn't.
Faking it.
Because women weren't in there. There was no women.
Female.
You weren't filled with the Spirit.
Not at my church. Not at my church.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And also, Dog Stopper, we got to make sure, we ain't gonna allow him to do anything either.
Yeah. Can't do that.
That just eliminates half of your competition by means of visual confirmation of genitalia or sexual characteristics. Is what
long skirts.
We all need to go naked.
And then if your misogyny is so strong, then you can even narrow the field further by like a quarter because, gender expression can be a spectrum, the effeminate or feminine-ish spectrum of men. And then you've even cut it even more. And then you've wiped out even more of the competition. This is damn, I wish I had a penis. Fuck. Am I on mute? Shit.
No.
You're not on mute. Chloe. There.
I'm just wild and crazy. You guys just got me. What do I like to call this? Uncensored, unplugged. She's full of
the Spirit.
The Holy Spirit just came in me and said, "We're gonna have to people saying bullshit for so long. Just say it. Who cares?"
You're gonna have to get people. We're gonna have to get
The Spirit came in you.
We have to get this demon out of her, y'all.
Hey.
A
spirit.
There's no demon. Get out of there. Get out of her, demon. I saw videos somebody was saying that today. Now it's just like,
and by spirit, I mean.
I was telling Dr. Tom Waster. I said,
gotcha.
Atheism on TikTok ain't what it used to be. We was raging a mighty war.
It used to be.
I mean, we was slaying on there. We were just slicing them all down. Then we sliced them all down.
Is that like right in every atheist life is to at some point make a video and talk about atheism?
But what happens this is what happens after we slew so many vagabonds. There's always it was a new one with Pascal's wager, and you'd be like, "Oh,
got him!"
And then you slice.
No, we've created our own cult too, because we can go further into time, and we who experienced that moment in time can say, "Got him!" and everybody knows what you mean, and we all laugh because we'll know we're part of the cult of TikTok.
He was gone, and now there's nobody. But what happened was they came in numbers. They found out that we was on here slicing the people up. They said, "Oh, they on TikTok. That's where they're at now." And they just shit.
I mean, we got to keep up with this stuff.
It's so. How many Pascal wages can you
limit
take?
The amount of places that could exist for people to go to spaces like this and express themselves?
I can't take that many Pascal wagers. How many Pascal wagers can you take out for sub?
I've taken quite a few Pascal. wagers in my life. Big Pascal wagers.
So many Pascals that I just.
So I just always ask them, like, how much time do you spend worrying about Zoroastrian hell?
Yeah,
That's what I usually go with.
it's like
I wrote a whole section on Pascal's wager. Are you proud of me?
I am proud.
But every so often, I just want to make. I just be like, man, I just want to make different type of content. Then I'll scroll, and then there'll be another one, and I'm like,
Damn it.
oh, this is why we're here.
Right.
you just be like, oh, another one. Here we
It
go.
is the same arguments over and over. Like,
we constantly have the
Hard to
same
be a
argument.
rock on the shore, constantly getting hit with the wave after wave of
I
all the time.
I have not come across any new reasoning against atheism or against believing in the God in 10 years, which is when I started hearing the reasonings that people have against it. So somebody should come up with some new arguments for why God exists.
Yep. And Pascal's wager ain't it.
No,
The argument should be
but then
evolving.
I remember,
Like the religion evolves.
Then I remember I got kids, and I was like, "Dang, time to buckle up and suit up again and get these yokels back to war again, back to Pascal's war."
Pascal's war.
But if Pascal's wager was a good argument, then why isn't it the first argument that comes out of their mouth?
It's what they deem
It's
to
the
be
last argument.
I know, but to them, that's their nuclear bomb. When they be so ready, like that's the nuke. When they like, oh, okay, none of that, okay, and you think it's gonna be some great thing. As soon as they hit that button, always Pascal's wager.
Right.
Never nothing else. And it's
I
like,
feel like
they may paint it up differently, but it all comes back to the same.
Lipstick on a pig.
If we are from a country that values your individuality and ability to make your own choices, which they do want to be able to do so that they can believe whatever they believe, then they have to respect the fact that you might make a different choice than them and just let it be. And let people be who they want to be.
I yanked my headphones out and I couldn't hear nothing.
That's fine. I was saying.
Thought everybody was muted.
You didn't miss anything. We're fine.
No, we're good.
The war goes on. It's like Autobot. But there's new recruits on the rise. I be seeing them. Of course, you're late.
Jehovah
So
is
late.
disappointed
We should
with
talk
you.
about that.
We should appeal to Jehovah's authority and not question it.
You had before we end this, because I know we've been on for an hour. I don't want to lose the momentum here, but you brought up that really good video that we just dissected, and Ryan, before we had started, you had pulled up an article about authority. And I kind of want to just point out one thing, and we don't have to stay on it forever, but
accept Jehovah's authority. That's all we need. Close out.
Yep. Close it. Done. Boom.
Bye, everybody. See you next week.
Accept it, and you're fine. Don't question. Accept.
One of the things that I noticed was at the very beginning of the video you had mentioned, he immediately called out the opposing argument in a way that was, I don't want to say demeaning, or clearly in a way that you're kind of like, I'm betting you're not going to be for this, right?
There was a slight.
Right. Authority is not a popular word today. But clearly, by the tone that I've already set by this article, you're going to know that we're going to disagree with that particular thing. And then we're going to also let you see how stupid that type of thinking really is, or dangerous. Careful.
Mm-hmm.
Careful now.
The theme is built on that very first.
Because authority.
The title, the few sentences.
Fear always goes with authority. right?
Oh yeah. Fear is the rule. If you hear I heard a lot of that this past Sunday about somebody saying their parents brought them up in the fear of the Lord. I said that's a terrible way to come into some under the fear.
You have a setup of your 3D printer. So say your TikToks, your IKEA 3D printer, right? And you promised me you were going to make an engraved image of Jehovah for me. And I had made a joke about how you're not supposed to make images of Jehovah. You're not supposed to depict his face. Am I wrong? Is this not a Jehovah's Witness thing that no one knows the face of Jehovah or what it looks like? So don't you dare.
Man, I don't know. All them faces in other churches. Black Jesus, white Jesus, Asian Jesus, Middle Eastern Jesus.
Nobody knows. I mean, I'm just saying.
Mexican
I'm asking
Jesus.
my fellow ex-JDub cohorts here.
Oh.
Was that something you guys recall?
Alien Jesus.
What Jesus are we doing?
Do you know what Jehovah looks like? Should I make a 3D printed image of Jehovah?
Probably.
Yes.
I like how you're recruiting me to do this. I clearly said I printed for the first time ever in my life. Yes.
Did you? For the hurricane or?
We're hurricane free now. So.
Oh, okay. Good.
It's wet.
Maybe I'm crazy then. Nobody's reinforcing my thoughts here. So.
Well, we're at the beginning of hurricane season, so there shall be more.
All right.
Jehovah has it out for me. So, yeah. But if I pray hard enough, he'll go somewhere else.
Well, all you have to do is accept his authority.
No. All I gotta do is pray. All I gotta do is outpray wherever else is in the path of the hurricane. If I outpray them, they'll go to them, and God saves us.
It's a lot of.
I always hear that on Sundays. That used to be weird.
Mysterious ways.
Well, that'd be weird. It used to be weird on Sundays. It'd be like, thank God that hurricane, then God moved that hurricane from here. And I'm thinking like, yo, but it demolished the neighboring city. Did they not pray enough?
If you read this article and you replace the word Jehovah with Kim Jong-un, this makes a really compelling case for communism.
I was gonna read. Sorry, I was gonna read part of it. Are we done? Are we done, Zoe, for the night?
I mean, is all you were gonna say about that article? Then yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really much to say. You can see immediately what they're doing. It's pretty typical how they layer their arguments. So they're the only mediator. They're the one true source of information from God. So basically, you have to listen to God, but you have to do that through the mouthpiece of God.
You got to hear how I tell you how God is.
Right.
Yeah. This is what God said because I'm telling you that's what God said.
Because you brought this up backstage when you pulled that up and you said, who wrote this? And who writes the literature that end up on the website for the organization? We know, right?
Jehovah.
Oh, because we can't prove that anyone else wrote it.
Jehovah writes it.
Right, so it must be.
Jehovah writes it.
It's a good. I mean, it's handy to never publish who is an author in your literature, which is why when you look at scientific literature, everything is so detailed. Like everybody has to say, this is my name, these are my credentials, this is what I did, this is how I did it, this is what I think as the results of what I did.
In a world where, in a time period now where if you think about like the 10 Commandments, only one person could bring them tablets down. Why didn't he wait till now? He just put it on everybody's phone as Amber Alert. Commandments alert. Like, at one time, we all get it. Oh, they are.
Google it. Who owns Google and what does Google do?
There's been an update to our morality code.
Yeah. Man, I was about to say basically that same thing. I was about to say new update to morality, guys.
This is the perfect. If there was any better time, it's now. Like is because it's like fictional things don't work in today's time period. Just like movies set in 2024, like the typically superhero movies are weird because it don't. If you really look at it, it's like, no, we'll figure out who you are right now. There's too many cameras everywhere. Like, no, there's no way we'll see you. You ran into. There's a camera everywhere to see you. So, he should come now. Just make it. If there any better time to have people believe in him, right now is the time.
You couldn't ignore it.
Right now is the time. But he ain't.
He won't. He could if he wanted to. He could if he wanted to.
If he wanted to, he'd be here.
Yep. If he wanted to, he would do it, girl.
He's a deadbeat.
Choice.
He's a deadbeat. He's just like his father.
You have to look for a new savior elsewhere, girl.
I'm going to what's the other ones they got?
Saviors?
Yeah, it's plenty of them, right?
There's deities, but I don't know about saviors.
You know, right now there's somebody on the internet waking up from a dream to tell us that the world's coming to an end.
What?
Like the world has ended, and he decided to go to some random person on TikTok, for her to get on TikTok, knowing that the entire world isn't on TikTok, to tell the world that that the world's about to end. That don't make no sense.
We all live in one of John Malkovich's dreams.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the half floor.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, to live and die in LA.
Okay, I want to go back to Pascal's wager for a super second because I wrote down a bunch of notes. It is, correct me or relabel it however you want, the either or fallacy or the black and white. The really it's Pascal's wager only works when there are two options to consider. And then it presumes that within those two options, that if there is a God, it would provide you an infinite option of either pleasure or suffering, right? So if there is a God and you believe, then you get infinite pleasure. If there is a God and you don't believe, infinite suffering.
But from what I hear from some people, they say it's not necessarily suffering. You just won't be with him. And I'm like, but the thing is, when I'm like,
that's Jehovah's Witnesses' argument as well, is that there's no hell, you just won't exist.
But hold on, but isn't that just this right here?
That we have a finite existence?
No. He's saying you just be without God. And I'm like, so reality. We're gonna be in reality, is what you're telling me.
But bringing it back to the premise that Pascal put out, which is it's either infinite or finite. So I want to say infinite.
Right.
Anyway, but the idea being that if there is no God, then everything is finite. So either you're suffering because you believe in a very strict ideology is finite. So it's not going to be forever, right? So we can minimize the amount of suffering if we choose that path, but we don't really have any way of comparing suffering, and it's very individual, right? Pain is a unique thing that each person experiences, in fine detail. Obviously we all experience pain, but you can't tell somebody they are or are not in pain because you are not feeling their body. So we only know that finite existence exists. So we really don't have a good comparison to say that the suffering that we experience in our one and only finite life is worth living this terrible suffering life when that's all we get. If there is no such thing as infinite.
I think I'll just say Jehovah.
Okay, all right. I'll
just start.
I will take my nonsensicalness.
I'll be. That's too much brain work. I'll just go believe in Jehovah.
Just believe in Jehovah. Vote Trump. Wear a patch on your ear and a cross on your neck.
Remember that one video? Y'all remember that one video like 4 years ago? Mr. Trump, and she was on the toilet. And she
I think about it daily.
Oh, every time I hear it, it's just so hilarious.
Oh wait, on the toilet.
Yeah, well, they added the toilet sounds to it, so I just assumed.
Oh, you talking about the lady that said President Trump, please save
President
us.
Trump, and she was
Yeah.
crying, President Trump.
Save us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Again,
was
Yeah,
sad.
I
Felt
think
bad
about it
for her.
daily.
Yeah, those,
I mean,
I
okay,
think about it all the time.
we have TV shows that mock people's mental illness constantly. And this is another version of reality TV show where we get to mock people's mental illnesses. Hoarders, what good is it for us to watch those kinds of shows when they're really just exploiting people for entertainment? I'm really gonna fucking downer this whole episode right
no,
now.
you're not. And I'm gonna bring it right back up.
Okay, go.
Wait,
tell
no,
you.
bum fights. Let's watch bum fights, guys.
This is my thought on why we have shows like that. We have hoarders so other people can look at that and say, "Oh, I'm not that bad."
Right.
I've-
So we
I've-
do
I've-
believe in
I've been
spectrum.
trust me. I have been in somebody's house who like, yo, if you didn't have if you just a little bit more time, a little less space, you're on the path to being a hoarder. And then they saw the TV show of somebody else hoarding, said, "Ooh, hoarders are keeping all that stuff." Meanwhile, they have so much stuff at the same time, but because it doesn't look like that, and the cameras ain't at your house yet. Well, I ain't got the cameras at my house, so I'm not hoarding that bad. But
A spectrum.
like 'cause my mom is like almost a hoarder kind of. She don't really say that about us, but she, it's like, oh, you got a lot of extra stuff in here. Going on.
What are you gonna do with all them records and newspapers and
Yeah, I was on a path that I just I said, I watched it. It was an episode of South Park. I said, "Nah, you're right, Stan," and I just start getting rid of stuff.
I was thinking about the exploitative part of what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with bum fights. There was a YouTube channel. Anybody that
I
is
think I can
listening is familiar.
imagine.
Yeah,
it
there was I think it was a YouTube channel that was popular where they just paid some bums like $100 a piece to fight each other, and they recorded it. And the guy that did this went on Dr. Phil, because Dr. Phil was going to confront him about how he just exploits people for money.
So like
And
Dr. Phil didn't fucking
Ain't this when he showed up just like him?
he showed up just like Dr. Phil. Yeah, he's like,
What- yeah. Isn't Dr. Phil just explaining people?
Yeah,
Well,
Dr. Phil is a fucking disgusting piece of
That's
shit.
what we've been, daytime talk shows.
Allegedly.
Daytime talk shows. Most everything's exploited at some point, some manner.
I mean, we have to be in this system, brothers and sisters. We have,
No,
to survive, we have
no,
to make dollars.
no.
It's funny you say that.
No.
It's funny you say that because growing up, I know more Jehovah's Witness, freelance, self-employed people who do nothing more than find every loophole, every legal loophole, every way to skirt taxes, every way to avoid those fees and avoid that, like I know contractors who just wouldn't get the permits. They'd skimp on the permits and then just didn't tell anybody. All to make a living, I guess, because when you're not allowed to go to college, you got to do what you got to do, I guess. But
Right.
sorry, you said that, and then that just made me remember that. So sorry about that. Deal with it.
Well, all humans, for the most part, we're most of the same. Skimping and scamming. Skimping and scamming, just the nature of the beast. That's the sin. That's why they use the word sin. Sin is, so you could say I've sinned and not have to confess to anything.
So can you choose what you believe?
Huh?
Can you choose what you believe?
Can you choose?
Yeah. Can you decide I believe this?
Yeah, you can. You choose it, and then
Can
you
everybody
will.
do that, or is there a method?
No, you choose to believe. If you choose hard enough, you just ignore things. You just start ignoring things. You start avoiding. So
if you lie to yourself long enough, you'll believe the lie.
Yeah, you just like you think of a lot of devoted believers. A lot of them just don't look up information because they don't even want to not believe, or even have their idea of what they believe shake or shattered anyway. So they're actively choosing to believe, even if they don't believe.
But I
they
could argue
chose.
at some point it becomes no longer a choice.
Yeah, that got into deep.
Someone
You'd have
seeking
missed-
the
you'd have
truth
missed
can't choose their beliefs.
Right.
Something.
If you are truly seeking the truth, you couldn't choose your beliefs, right? Why do you say that, Alpha Sub?
I
What could
constantly
choosing your beliefs do to you finding out the truth?
I mean, what I mean is that, for instance, I can't choose to believe that my door to my bedroom is made out of macaroni and cheese. Some people can delude themselves enough to the point that they can walk up to their bedroom door and take a bite out of that wooden door because they think it's made out of macaroni and cheese. But I'm not one of them, because I want to know the truth that the
Yeah.
door is actually made out of wood and not mac and cheese.
Do you think you're capable of maybe not a door and macaroni and cheese, as that's a clearly ridiculous thing to believe in?
Clearly.
But do you think maybe if there was something that was really super plausible, in fact, maybe something that everyone around you keeps saying you are or you should be, with
I'll tell
a
you.
lot
Can
of
I tell you?
positive reinforcement,
I got
do you think you could eventually maybe believe that thing?
I got an example.
Not
I
me,
got an
because I'm
example.
too autistic to give in to people's
I got an
reinforcement.
answer.
All right, Tyler, what's your answer?
Horoscopes.
Forceps?
Horoscopes.
No,
Oh.
no.
I gotta hear this.
Foreskins?
Horoscopes.
Oh, okay.
Because they don't mean anything, but they do mean something. Because you have people born if you're born into a family of people that believes in horoscopes, right? And then you spend your whole childhood, they assume because you was born this month, and then they start telling you what you are based on how they receive the month. So you end up being a Pisces or whatever it is, a Leo, whatever it is, even though that the things you're doing are just common. Because people always talk about horoscopes to me, but I don't even know what a horoscope. I don't even know.
Right.
I can't get a common definition of what characteristics are a Pisces versus Sagittarius.
Yeah, because when I hear them all, it depends on how I'm feeling that day.
Can we pull up can you Google Barnum statement? BARNUM statement. This is what horoscopes are.
Barnum and Bailey statement.
Basically.
Barnum and Bailey.
A Barnum statement is like something that sounds specific, but it can apply to a huge amount of people.
Yeah.
Is there? I mean, that's the best definition I've got.
Yeah, but people believe that you are that way because you was born this month, you told this way, and you're gonna act that way because people told you to act that way. You have no reason not to not do it if people tell you, "Oh yeah, you're supposed to." Like when somebody say certain people are mean or witch your ass. Yeah, because you allowed them to be mean. you gave them a pass to be a mean person by saying, "Well, that's just how you are. You're just mean and edgy person." And they just grow to be that way.
That's what you're talking about. The Barnum effect is a common psychological phenomenon where individuals give high accuracy ratings to descriptions of their personality that supposedly are tailored specifically to them, yet which are in fact vague and general enough to apply to a wide range of people. This effect can provide a partial explanation for the widespread acceptance of some paranormal beliefs and practices such as astrology, fortune telling, or reading, and other types of personality tests. I couldn't, if there's no consensus to, like, if there's not enough data that says yes, Pisces always does this. And we can hands down, everyone across the board agrees, of all specialties in astrology will all agree that this is like, I've just never found that. It seems to be culturally influenced. It seems to be generationally influenced, and it seems to be influenced a little bit on what people are using that information for. Personal gain or cognitive bias, perhaps. I'll shut up now.
Oh, I completely zoned out because you started talking about ghosts, and then I remembered us talking about racist ghosts, and I was
I'm so glad you
Racist ghosts.
support my
I was thinking about
cognitive
that.
functions here. I don't. Is this what you're talking about? Shane?
Yeah, what was I bringing this up for, Barnum? Because people, horoscopes.
Astrology and horoscopes.
Yeah, horoscopes. There is a certain way that you can write things that just seem right, no matter what. Who is reading it? It seems like you're predicting the future. I mean, cold reading is another thing that's similar. It's not the same thing as Barnum's statement, but it is stuff that is like vague statements that can apply to a lot of people that then you're honing in on.
Well,
it's been an hour and a half.
We're
yeah,
done.
I mean,
We're
I
done.
know we
So
went
we have been here a long time.
Yeah.
Do you guys want? We could keep talking.
I mean, we can kind of figure this out.
There was a lot of stuff I didn't bring up that I had written down. Like, I don't know. Is this interesting or pivot?
I mean,
are we ever interesting?
Pivot. Like,
you asked the same question at the end, but nothing. We're never on topic.
We know that I just figure out what we're going to talk about 30 minutes before.
Yeah, and then nobody's ever going to research anything.
We don't take into account what anyone puts in the comments or says.
I did some.
He said so.
I found an article and everything. You found a video, so we did.
Honestly, there were other points I had on that article too. So I mean, we could pick one thing and we can all just sit and pick it apart. I had more things on that video I didn't talk about. I muted myself just to shut myself up.
We can't, because that's just the way we are.
I try to avoid the things that I know about. I tried very hard to, like, when I was reviewing any of these documents, to just take the facts, right? Try to avoid my emotional bias, my annoyance of those people saying things that I think are ridiculous. It's difficult. It's challenging. It's I think, again, ad hominem. Very difficult. And ad hominem, I'm guilty of it all the time. I say ad hominems all the time, and I try my best to catch.
I call you out too.
Important things anyway. So
you
yeah,
gotta you gotta be emotionless like me.
Oh me, oh.
Like I have no. It's like it's.
I have emotions once every 5 years.
It's hard for me to.
I'll find out what I've been feeling for the past 5 years, and then I'll just suddenly...
I get uncomfortable. Like it's like my radar goes off. Like the minute I feel anything, if I watch anything and I feel you touching on my emotions, you're up to something.
Oh, yep.
You're up to something. Oh, you're trying to make me mad. You're up to something. I'm not gonna get mad because if I get mad, I'm gonna miss something. No way. You're not gonna get me, buddy. No way.
That's why I only listen to monotone people that have no emotion at all.
I love
Lex Friedman. I don't even listen to him. He's too emotional.
Yeah, I get I don't know. I got a little radar just goes off. It's like something's uncomfortable. Something's uncomfortable. Something very
down ideas that I want for the next show. Keep going. It's fine. Whatever.
You're stealing ideas.
We can just end whenever, Ryan. It's fine. We're never going to end this conversation. We're going to get off the show and we're going to talk for like another hour.
24-hour live stream nonstop.
Going right now.
Everybody.
We ain't going to get off the live stream until y'all find Jehovah.
So.
Can't let that
dang. We're going on a 50-year live stream right now, guys. Nonstop. You can find Jehovah.
Bye, guys.
Only 2 options. 2.